Can you all hear me? We're going to open up with Aaron Henry. I am going to get permission to record for people if you do not have it yet. Sorry. And then we will, if you can, direct questions to the chat, please. We'll start first with Matt Charbonneau from the Detroit News.
Aaron, obviously you're coming off the big win at Duke. Do you think there was any sort of layover from that, or I guess how can you, what would you pinpoint the way this? Can't hear me?
Can't hear.
Can you hear me now? I'm not on mute, am I?
No, I can hear you. Matt, Aaron, you can't?
No, okay. No, we're good. Max.
Gotcha.
You got me, Aaron? You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Obviously you come off the big win over Duke. Things don't go smoothly tonight. I guess, what can you pinpoint as some of the reasons why you guys didn't play as well tonight? Was it more about Detroit, or do you feel like there was a lack of energy early on with you guys?
Man, you got to credit Detroit for the way they played, of course. I mean, they play hard, they compete. You know, they did all the little things that, you know, that are staples here at Michigan State as well. And they did some of those things better than we did. And I felt like it was a learning experience for us. You know, I mean, it's good to get those type of games in and win them, you know, but we've obviously seen teams around the country, you know, fall in those type games. And we did a lot of things like missing layups, not following defensive assignments. And you got to give a lot of credit to Detroit for the way they played and how they just did what they wanted to almost. And we got to learn from that.
Was it tough at all not having any game film on them since they hadn't played, or do you think that was a factor at all?
I mean, tough or not, you feel like that stuff helps, of course. But, you know, when it comes down to it, we watched some film on them and the type of players that they had, you know, and we just got to, you know, I don't want to say nut up, but, you know, I want to say something better than that. But when it comes down to it, we have to do that, you know, play tough, play with some grit, and just come more prepared. You know, we can't just come and think anything is given to us. And I'm just glad we won. Honestly, it was something to see.
Next question's from Chris Solari from the Detroit Free Press.
Aaron, those final maybe 5-8 minutes there. What did you see from Rocket in particular, and how he came out and looking to score, and how much did his ability to get you guys out in transition start to get you where you needed to be?
He was dynamite, you know, in a lot of different areas, scoring in the half court, you know, setting guys up, getting guys open shots. And, you know, he was just everywhere. You know, he was guarding their best player. You know, he was scoring for us and doing things. I mean, I was in foul trouble on the bench, but I mean, just watching on the bench and then coming in and trying to contribute in those last minutes, you know, he was huge for us. And he's growing a whole lot, man, and the sky's the limit.
We'll go to Lindsey Huddleston from SPS.
Thank you. Aaron, can you talk about the matchup between you and Antoine Davis? There's a lot of next level talk about you guys. And is there something that you saw that is not on the scouting report that you can tell us about?
He's a competitor. You know, you can't teach those types of things. And it's tough to measure. You can kind of gauge it from your seat or from guys on the sideline and what you see. But on the court, man, he's a guy that's going to compete and give it his all, man. And that's somebody I want to go to war with if I'm on the team with him. You know, he's a guy he wants that last shot. He wants that big matchup, you know, and it was something to see for sure.
Great. Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Kyle Austin from MLive.
Hey, Aaron, those assists, ball movement numbers are so good the first couple of games. How have teams been able to kind of slow that down? How can you kind of get that going again here?
We can get that going with making more shots, making layups. We missed a lot of layups in the first half, and even in the second half as well. Shots just weren't going in, and it's a combination of things. The ball has to move faster. The ball can't stick in our hands, and when we do that, I feel like we're a tougher team to guard. It's just something that we have to focus on, and really, you know, try to put it in our games and put it in our minds for the game at hand.
Next questions to Jana Bardell from the State News.
Hi, Aaron. So in a game like this, when you guys are trailing and maybe losing some energy, especially without the fans here, how do you guys kind of bring the energy back to the team and work together to bring the energy back and the game back in your hands?
Starts on the bench. It really does. The guys on the bench that have to make up for the fans. We have to come up with our own chants, come up with our own energy, and just make the people on the court feel that. And I felt like we did a good job of that, even though times were hard, and in the midst of tough games like that, the bench has to be there. And I feel like we really were.
We'll go next to Mike Glasip from Wood TV.
L13, Grand Rapids, Elwood. Coach Izzo warned you guys going into this game. He said you have to take these guys just as seriously as you took Duke. Was that something? I mean, why did that sort of fall a little bit upon deaf ears? Did he remind you of that at halftime about, hey, I told you about this?
It was almost, he didn't have to remind us. It was evident in how we were playing. Obviously it wasn't pretty on any end, offense or defense, and transition defense, especially how we were taking care of the ball, how they were beating us on the boards. Just all the hustle things. I felt like the growth of our team is dependent on how much we listen to Coach Izzo and hold each other accountable. I feel like he always says the player coach team is the best coach team. And, I tried to hold guys accountable, even me, when I wasn't doing the right things. And, he's Coach Izzo coaches and he says a lot, but I feel like the biggest steps we can take is, can we see that from being in the game? Can we see that on the bench and make those corrections? And I felt like we stepped up in halftime and held ourselves accountable. I stepped up and said, hey, I missed this assignment, or, hey, like I missed this layup, I did this and that. And even though the second half of the beginning of it wasn't as sharp, but we still, took ownership for what we did and we were responsible for it. And man, I'm happy we won in this growing moment.
Last question for Aaron will be from Chris Solari from the Detroit Free Press.
I'm going to defer to Audrey on that last one.
Fair enough. Audrey, last question for Aaron from the gentleman.
Yeah. We just curious, obviously Julius had a major impact in the Duke game coming off the bench tonight. He does the same thing for you guys. I don't want to say that we're surprised by this, but what kind of impact can he continue to make, and how big of an impact did he make for you tonight?
Continue to grow. He's a guy that just comes in and does all the little things, and he's a guy that I want to go to war with every time. He's going to get that rebound. He's going to get that. He's going to dive on the floor. He's going to make that cutout. And then he's going to, on the offensive end, he's going to make a nice poster. He's going to, make that mid-range jump shot. He's going to set a hard screen. He just does all the little things, and he continues to grow. He's never complacent. He's a guy that always wants to get better. And, I'll never want to put a limit on our guys or on our team, but, the sky's the limit, to say the least, for him.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Aaron. Coach Izzo will be following, and we'll grab a player or so afterward.
Sorry, I was muted there. Coach, if you want to start us off with an opening statement.
Yeah, disappointed and feel good at the same time. Very big trap game for us. No Joshua Langford, which was a coach's and trainer decision more than Josh's. A little bit of a sore knee, but nothing at all. Could have played. We just felt like, as I told you early in the year, we're going to give him a chance here and there. Really disappointed in our bigs. The guarding, after doing a pretty good job against Eastern Michigan, and yet we had no scouting report. They hadn't played. They had transfers. I mean, the Matt Johnson kid goes 7 for 14, 4 for 6. He played 9 minutes a game, and I think averaged a point for St. Bonaventures last year. and he tore us up. Antoine Davis is just a hell of a player, but Rocket Watts did a hell of a job on him too. Held him to no threes, which is hard to do. 26 shots on 24 points on 26 shots. Rocket did his job, and sometimes it was by himself. I thought if I had stars of the game, Rocket really played under control compared to maybe the Duke game. A lot less dribbling. There were some great plays. I thought Aaron Henry, just stuffed the stat sheet again, Not shooting it great yet, but with 10 rebounds, 12 points, 6 assists, 1 block, 3 steals. He guarded him too sometimes. Really felt good about Aaron, and probably the third star, believe it or not, would have been Foster Loyer. He did everything we asked. We got a little bit more play out of Hogart, but our bigs, other than Marcus Bingham, I thought really struggled and struggled to guard, struggled to rebound. Major disappointment that we got to clean up, but we got numbers of them. Joey hurt his knee a little bit, not a twist or anything, just hit the thing, and so he couldn't move very good. But the other guys, Malik's good enough to guard, so is Julius, and we just didn't do a very good job of it. So trap game a little bit, team that we had nothing on, players that we didn't even know, found a way to win. We're going to have to do that a couple times, but those of you that think we're ready for, the national championship because we beat Duke, readjust your theories. We got a lot of work and a long way to go.
Our first question comes from Mike with WZZM.
Coach, I know that you kind of warned your team about this game, in terms of the right perspective to have. Was it frustrating that and I hope you don't take offense, that sort of fell on deaf ears a little bit?
Oh, yeah. I don't take offense to it. It's a reality. People got to learn. People don't listen sometimes. They got to learn. And like I said, Mike Davis has been a good coach since he was at Indiana, UAB, Texas Southern, Detroit. The guy's a really, really good coach. And he believes he can beat us when he comes in. And he's a good friend of mine. And he did everything. He did a heck of a job. Now, does it hurt too not to have your home crowd, just like did it hurt Duke? Of course it does. But I felt like our defensive effort with our big guys was non-existent. And we got to fix that. That's all.
Next, we'll go out to Larry Lage.
Hey, Tom, Rocket, the way he created a shot for himself and his teammates in that, critical stretch in the second half, just your thoughts on that stretch for him.
I told Rocket after the game, that's the best I've seen him play ever, because he was under control. He made good plays. He made great decisions. He played phenomenal defense, and just think how long he was in there, because we had Aaron switching with him a little bit, and then Aaron got in foul trouble. So I thought Rocket Watts did an amazing job, and really proud of him, because we spent a lot of time with him after that Duke game. Mike Garland did, I did. And, I like it that, as the last question was asked, he responded. And that's what you hope. Just like Aaron Henry, he's playing the best basketball he's ever played. And when he starts shooting the ball better again, you're going to see those numbers go up and the double-doubles go up. But Rocket Watts was good defensively. He was very good offensively. He's going to take a bad shot or two. And I'm going to live with that, because I understand that, those are some of the things that change. Now, it can't be 5 or 6. And tonight it wasn't, and I was proud of him.
Next, we'll go out to Chris Solari.
You kind of touched on it a little bit with Foster, but there was that stretch where after he took that charge where everything kind of seemed to amp up a little bit. Can you talk a little bit, not just about that, but also with Gabe coming out and hitting those shots in the corner? It seemed like those two things really kind of gave the energy back to the team.
I would agree 100%. And what really, really excites me is to see you with that mask on in a room by yourself, it looks like. So that's taking it to another level, man. God bless you. But plus, I don't have to look at you this way. I guess that's another plus, huh? Thumbs up. But all kidding aside, Chris, I thought Foster gave us some energy. He played pretty good defense. I mean, we still struggled. Gabe did the same thing, Gabe struggled some defensively, but he made some good plays offensively. And we're going to get those two guys better because Foster's really been a good leader, good captain. We don't win that game without Foster, no matter how Rocket plays or how Aaron plays. And that's why I said he'd my third star if this was hockey.
As a follow to that, getting AJ the minutes at the point and kind of letting him get a little bit of run as well, how much does that help him and the depth moving forward?
Well, I think it's going to help some moving forward, but as we all know, I'm playing today. I played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 guys. And that's not going to happen all the time. I'm just trying to get some guys a chance. Now, remember, we took 30 minutes a game out of there with Josh, but Josh shouldn't play 30 minutes either. So AJ is going to help us, made some big plays, had some foolish turnovers, and that's what you're going to get out of a freshman once in a while. But I think he did show some good plays. I thought he played pretty good defense. Remember now too, he missed 2.5 weeks with that knee, and that kind of set him back too. So getting him more minutes is going to help. Getting Josh back is going to help. And maybe learning a few lessons with our big guys is really going to help. And that's kind of what you do at this time of year.
We'll go to Matt Charbonneau.
Tom, with Josh, is your thought process with the quick turnaround for Sunday or you have that balance of, do we try and give him a little more time, or you want him to still play and not sit out too much? Is that kind of a balance?
Oh no, he's
right
going to
now?
play Sunday.
Yeah.
No. There's no. Listen, if this was a normal day and I wasn't taking Detroit lightly, but right now at this point in time in a year, after playing 29 minutes and traveling, I just wasn't going to take any chances. I told you guys I was going to do that. Don't read into it. It has nothing to do. He's playing, on Sunday, and he's going to play on Tuesday, and that's the way it'll be. So it's not this day to day. We're trying to manage him or even manage his minutes, Matt. I would like it a little less than 30, but Josh Langford's a valuable member to this team. And I told every one of our guys tonight, appreciate Josh too, appreciate him.
And would you say Joey late in the game not playing was more about you just didn't like the way he was defending and not so much that he banged his knee, or?
I'd say both.
Yeah.
I'd say both. I mean, you could see he was dragging his knee. I don't know what it looked like on TV, but he was dragging it. He didn't twist it or anything. He just hit it on the floor. So it's a bruise, but he wasn't moving very good, and he wasn't, but Joey's too good a player. We need him in there. He did liven us up in that one stretch and then really struggled defensively because I don't think he could move as good. So I'd say at the end, it was more because of the injury, but he's got to play both ends.
All right, we got time for a few more. We'll start with Lindsey Huddleston.
Hey, Tom, is this game an example of why you have to coach your team hard when you're up almost 30 points? Because you said you had to find a way to win.
Yeah, I think it is, Lindsey. I think it's a good example of the way the whole year is going to be. We're not over talented. We don't come in here like Kentucky or, or maybe Gonzaga this year. We're not, we don't roll it out and everything goes right. But thought Rock and Foster ran our team better. I thought, we missed Josh. I'm not making excuses, but if our 4s and 5s play like they did tonight, we're not going to win a lot of games. Now, they played a lot better. They played a lot better at Duke. They played a lot better in the other games. They played really well against Notre Dame. They'll play better, but they got a lesson tonight that sometimes you got to go small. In our league, you look at Iowa and Illinois and Wisconsin and Purdue. I mean, guys are 7-2, 7-4, 7-1, 240, 330, there's going to be a lot more big guys. So that's why these games are hard, but you get an NCAA tournament, you never know what you'll get. So I think these games are important too. And so it was a good lesson, but I would say this in fairness to our 4s, when you take a guy who kind of is playing the wing and, he averages 9 minutes at St. Bonaventure's and, 1.5 points a game, and he goes off for 20. That wasn't the scouts' fault. That was just a lack of us. That was the virus's fault. You know, they got 3 or 4 games canceled. We have no film on them. They have film on us. We're trying to get AU film. We're trying to get Torian Thompson film from Syracuse, film from Seton Hall, you know, not having any clue what they're going to run. That made it difficult, to be very blunt about it. So I was disappointed in our one-on-one defense, but I don't want to, you know, we don't have the normal scouting report, which just goes to show my assistants are valuable too. And that's what I told my team after. Everybody's valuable. And as they say at the Patriots, you got to do your job. An assistant has to do his job. Players have to do their job. Head coach has to do his job. And some of that was taken away from us by COVID. And we had to find a way to win. And we did find a way to win against a team that I thought played awfully well tonight and were really well coached. Really well coached.
Got it. Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
We'll go out to Brendan Quinn.
Hey, Tom. You know, we see these moments from Gabe, the corner 3-pointer and the drive baseline with the finish with his offhand, you know, and these moments. And then you see stretches of play where he's just kind of out there. You know, how does he get to a middle ground, and what does that look like?
Very well said for a reporter, because he was right both. I mean, that was a coach's evaluation. Example, not very good defense. Example, 0 rebounds in 20-some minutes, you know. But the other side of the example, 6 for 9, 4 for 6, played pretty hard, 16 points, only 1 turnover. You know, that's what we do now. We try to find happy mediums. I'm doing that with Rocket a little bit. Gabe is so coachable that I think he realizes his defense has improved. It was great at Duke. It was great against Notre Dame. So he's improved in that area. Tonight wasn't as good because we had guys guarding people that we didn't know who they were guarding. They didn't know who they were guarding. They put people in different ball screens. Like I said, Mike did a great job, and that created some problems for us. So it was a combination of a lot of things, but Gabe's been playing better. I'm happy to see him shoot well tonight because we need to shoot better, and we are a better shooting team. And him coming off that, you know, I thought Foster had 3 really good looks, 2 good looks. The drive on a layup wasn't, but 2 wide open threes that he'll hit. I thought we had enough good shots. We just didn't make them. So we get 16 assists instead of 22. And you know, Gabe, boy, Rocket threw him a good pass. I thought Aaron gave up a shot to get him that one in the corner. Really pleased with the unselfishness of my team, other than that Duke game when I thought we got a little crazy.
All right. Thanks.
All right, we have time for 2 final questions. We'll start with Jason Lewis and wrap up with Stoney. Jason.
Hey, Tom, obviously teams are going to have off nights throughout the season, but to get a test like this and get pushed there until the end, going before Big Ten play starts, how beneficial is that, and how important is that to see how your guys grinded through something like that before, you know, the games really start to matter with conference play or even in March?
Whenever you can win a game not playing great, it's beneficial. If you have to learn by losing, like Aaron said to the guys after, why do we have to learn a lesson? Well, that's part of life. You always got to learn lessons. And I thought that to not play great at Duke, and I don't think they felt they played great either. Neither one of us played very good offensively, and they were really good defensively, and we were pretty good defensively. But we found a way to win. A lot easier to get their attention after a win sometimes. You know, you don't think so. You think you need to lose. I think I got enough maturity on my team. We don't need to lose to figure it out. And tomorrow morning's film session, they're going to figure out that we didn't lose, but there's a lot of work to go. And that's what tomorrow morning will be for.
Stoney.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned the lack of fans tonight and in Duke as well. But on TV, it seemed that all of a sudden there was this defense chant from the bench. It seemed to energize you. In these times with no fans, how important is that to have your team do things like that?
Stoney, I love you. I love you, man. We talked about it. You know, we listened to the TV last night. Illinois and Baylor got a lot. I said, hey, we're at Michigan State. The Izzo is our fans. but our bench is the same way. And I put that as a #1 priority tonight, believe it or not. And wait till I tell my guys that even a guy like Stoney picked up on that. I love you for that. I'm gonna tell them that, and I really mean that because that is important. We are in some strange times, and it's very difficult for a player when you make a great play and something's not going right, or they start making some baskets and where the defensive chance come. But I'm impressed that you picked that up, and I'm saying that as sincere as I can be because it was one of the things we talked about. And I put it on my kid. I put it on Jack Hoiberg. I put it on Steve Smith's kid. I said, you guys are in charge of that. And I think they did a good job. And maybe they deserve the 3rd star. Maybe we have 4 stars. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
All right, Coach, that's all we have for you tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Be safe. Mask up.
All right, we'll have 1 or 2 players here shortly. All right, I think our next player is going to be Gabe Brown. Okay, quick change of plans. Foster Lawyer's next. Take questions for Foster in the chat. All right, Foster, our first question comes from Lindsay Huddleston.
Hey, Foster, you've been in the mix a lot. What has it been like, these past few games, playing all these key roles, sometimes high profile and even low profile, compared to the way last season was?
Yeah, I think it's been important each time, that I go in and that I do my job, that I make sure I'm being a leader out there for our team, settling our team down, trying to get us into, something that's going to be successful on the offensive end, and just really leading the communication on the defensive end. Those are kind of a couple things that I've been really focusing on, and we're just looking to continue to build on that.
All right, thank you.
We'll go out to Jason Lewis.
Hey, Foster. Obviously, on the defensive end in the last two games, you've come up big with a lot of charges. How much pride do you take in that defense and get in front of guys and drawing some of those fouls?
Yeah, the defensive end has been a big emphasis for myself and for the coaches towards myself after these last couple of years. So that's something through the beginning of this year that I've really prided myself on of making those adjustments and just doing whatever I can. The charges, that's just going to come from playing hard and being in the right spot and just doing whatever I can to help my team.
Obviously, you guys are going to have some off nights throughout the season, but to come out and grind out a win like you guys did there at the end, how important is it to see that early in the year and know how you guys are going to respond before Big Ten play and before, the games start to matter in March?
Yeah, there's always going to be times within a game where adversity is going to hit. Teams are going to make their run. We're going to make our run. But it's just about, being able to get back up and keep fighting and, at some point bearing down and saying, we're not going to lose this game. We got to do whatever we can to come out with a win.
Thanks, Foster.
Next, we'll go to Jano with the State News.
Hi, Foster. So in a game like this, when you guys are trailing, maybe losing some energy, especially without any fans here, how do you as a captain help bring the energy back into the team and help you guys come back from playing kind of a back and forth game in the second half?
Yeah, that's something I think we've been trying to work on each and every day, even at practice. And a lot of that comes from the bench, comes from our players, our coaches, our trainers, everybody that we're able to have at the game. We got to be able to bring that energy, like you said, because it is tough. We don't have the Izzo behind us to kind of pick us up when we're down. We don't have the big momentum swings that we sometimes get from them. So I think it's just it's being selfless when you're out of the game, being a cheerleader kind of when you're on the bench, and just trying to help your teammates.
Thanks.
We'll go out to Chris Solari.
Oh, so this is the first time that you and Aaron now as captains had been in a position like this where it was a close game late. What did, I guess, you guys learn and discover about the leadership that both you have with the two of you, and what maybe you need to do a little more
of? Yeah, I thought we did a good job tonight of kind of bringing our guys together and just really focusing in on what we needed to do to to turn things around and to fix things, what we need to do to get a stop on the defensive end, what we need to do to put the ball in the right hands on the offensive end. But I think that job that we did, I think we did too late. I think that talk and that that motivation needed to come earlier in the game, because we can't let a team stay around, even though as well as they did play. We gotta be good enough to build on our leads and to really put someone away.
We'll go out to Audrey Dahlgren.
Hey, Foster. So Izzo has been mentioning after, the win against Duke, I almost said loss, sorry about that, win against Duke and then win tonight, just how much maybe better it is to learn from a win versus a loss. What's your perspective on that?
It's always better to learn from a win than a loss. Especially here, we're accustomed to winning. We expect to win every game that we go into. And so when you're watching the film the next day, that night, whenever you're watching it, the flight home from Duke, when you're breaking down that film and what you did wrong and how you can get better, it's a lot easier to make those corrections in your head and be not live with them because you need to change them, but at the same time be able to swallow them a little bit just because you were able to pull out a win and you need to grow from it.
Thank you.
And it looks like we have one final question for Foster coming from Jack Ebling.
Foster, after the charge you drew, you had a hustle rebound and then a hockey assist in transition. And then you were on the baseline doing an awful lot of coaching. How important is it for you to do that when the shot isn't falling? And can you talk about Antoine Davis and what he is as a guy to try to stop?
To your first point, we have a great group of guys here that, that all realize, every night's not going to be their night. I missed my couple shots early. A couple other guys missed their shots early, but it's all about, staying in the game, being there for your teammates, encouraging your teammates. So, even though when I came out of the game there late, I had to do everything in my power or whatever to motivate our guys, to get our guys going. And Antoine, he's a hell of a player. He's a hell of a scorer. As he really got it going there late, that's when I think we started to make a few adjustments. But he can score with the best of them, and he's going to be a big nightmare for the other teams he's playing.
All right, Foster, that's all we have for you tonight. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be joined by Gabe Brown here shortly.
One more question, one more interview.
All right, before we get started with Gabe, we got someone that's not muted. Just double check, make sure you are. All right, and we'll take questions for Gabe in the chat. First one comes from Graham Couch.
Gabe, you look today like you found a rhythm and you found, hold on one sec, I got this other thing. Sorry, go to somebody else, come back to me.
Okay, we'll go to Kyle Austin.
Gabe, just wondering if you could describe that stretch there. You and Rocket kind of coming in there down about 5, and it seemed like you were able to go on the run. He scored some points. He feeds you first. What was kind of going on in that stretch of the game in your mind?
In that moment, me and Rocket just wanted to have grit. We wanted to get down, get the team back on track, and really just try to get stops. I mean, he's a great point guard, and he found me on a couple good plays. So at that moment, we just wanted to get stops and wanted to get the team just fully together so we can get a win.
Go back to Graham.
Yeah, sorry about that. Gabe, you seem like you really found a comfort level in the second half, and maybe more so than at any point this season. What transpired late in that game that we sort of saw the energy and the versatility to your game that we maybe haven't seen since last season?
I'll just say I seen a couple open looks and I went for it. It's all about just believing in myself. I mean, that's really what it was at the end. I felt like on the layup. I had a good drive, had a good opportunity, and I just finished it the best way possible. And Rock hit me with a couple shots, Aaron hit me with a couple shots, and I just finished, followed through and finished. So really at the end, it was just believing in myself and my teammates believing in me just by getting me the ball.
Next, we'll go to Lindsey Huddleston.
Yeah, Gabe, how much does that getting up shots after the game play into you believing in yourself? You've done some great shooting in this game, in the past game. How much does that getting up shots after the game help you with that?
It helps me a lot. It helps me just keep on maintaining my rhythm and my flow. I work out like a lot, like as much as probably Coach is talk about. I probably work out more than that. So I live in the gym. So I really want to just keep on working. That's really what it is. That game doesn't define who it is. It's in the past, and I got to keep on working, keep on getting better for the next games that's coming forward.
Yeah, real quick follow-up. Malik Hall talked about seeing that posted on social media, you getting up shots, and they brought him back into the gym. What does it mean to have an influence on other players, that your work ethic is having that kind of influence on other players?
Well, it means the world to me. It means that they see it and they want to get better too, and I want to get better with them. Like Malik is a very great, like he's a great player, and I want them out there with me too. So I try, even though they probably seen it on social media, which I don't have Twitter or anything, so I didn't see it. But for him to say that and want to go out there and just help me out any way possible, I mean, that's what it's all about.
All right, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, we'll go to Chris Solari.
Gabe, can you talk a little bit about Antoine Davis? You're kind of, had you played him before? And I guess, what did you guys see from him tonight? And particularly what you guys need to maybe work on a little bit on the defensive end?
Antoine, he's a very great player. He did some very good things on the offensive end to help his team. He was a great leader. He played D. He did the right things for his team. It's just he didn't come out with a W today, and that's okay. He got a long season to go, and he's a very, very great player. He's going to make big things happen in the future. So I'm just blessed enough that I got to just play against him, because later on he's gonna shock the world. Overall, defensively, even for myself, I got to pick it up. Team has to pick it up. I did some things out there that I shouldn't have done, and I have to pick that up. I have to get back in the gym and just keep on working, watching film and going over the things that's happened. But overall, I'm just happy that we got to win.
Our next question comes from Audrey Dahlgren.
Gabe, you like to describe Thomas as a bucket. And so when it comes to Julius Marble, though, how would you describe the kind of player that he is for your team right now, especially with him coming off the bench against Duke and now tonight and the impact he was able to have?
I'm just very proud of him. I mean, Drew has been through a lot, and I just want to be there as much as I can for him. So right now, I'm just very proud of him, very proud of the things that he does. And people don't know this, but Drew is in the gym. Drew works. Drew tries his hardest to be the best that he possibly can be. He watches film. He's there early in the morning. He's one of the guys that probably leave late at night. So I just want people to know that I'm just very proud of him, and his hard work is showing off on the court. And that's all you can ask for. I mean, God has his back through thick and thin. So I just want to be there for him, be there for his ride.
One follow-up, if I can, is that this summer, obviously, with the passing of his dad, that was obviously very hard on him and everyone else on the team. But how have you seen him, not use that as, I guess, a motivation factor, but how have you seen him change his game or maybe his mental mindset because of that?
Since I've been through it and I still go through it every day, I just try to be there for him. I mean, that's one thing. We both went through the same similar situations. And I know we both think differently, but if my experience can help him too, and his experience can help me too, then that's the best thing possible. We both can help each other. And for him to go through that, I feel like it's made him stronger. It's made him tougher. It's made him a whole complete player. He's playing out of his mind right now, because I'm a Julius Marble fan. I'm his #1 fan. So I'm just happy that he's doing the things that he's doing, and everything is coming along for him.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll go back to Chris Solari.
You guys obviously have the quick turn up to Sunday. I guess, how will this stretch maybe prepare you for tournament time? And also, how do you prepare for the next opponent, knowing that their game already had been wiped out this week with COVID issues? I mean, it's got to be a weird situation both directions.
Yeah, it's a weird situation, but I mean, that's the reason why you came to Michigan State. You got to be mentally tough and physically tough. So it's a hard stretch, but in the tournament you don't get no days off. So we just got to get used to it. In the tournament, you're gonna have days where you're gonna keep on going games back to back to back to back. So you just got to be prepared, and this is the best time for it. And I feel like our team is just doing a great job of just doing that. I mean, we got the captains, Josh, Frosty, and Aaron. They're doing a great job. So I feel like everything is just coming along right for us.
Do you feel like you guys are mentally ready in case the game does get called off to just kind of put it aside and move on to next if it does happen?
Yeah, we'll put it aside probably. I mean, that's what you got to do. But overall, we just got to keep on working and looking forward to the next opponent. We're not worried about 3 games after this, 4 games, 5 games after this. We're about the next game, the next practice, and the next player.
All right, and our last question for Gabe comes from Jason Lewis.
Hey, Gabe, you kind of mentioned a little bit there with being mentally tough, but how does getting a win like this, having to grind it out, a close game early in the season, help you guys now prepare for later on the season when you get to Big Ten play? Like you said before, when you get to March.
It's gonna prepare us in a lot of ways. I mean, we got to watch film. We got to go back and study the things that we were doing out there today, and it's gonna prepare us because you never can slip up with any team. Any team can beat you, and it's 2020. There are a lot of good teams out there, and a lot of good players, and a lot of great coaches. So at this point, you gotta be prepared to step in any game and really just play.
Coach also said, with this kind of situation, you could still learn from a win just like you could learn from a loss. So just talk a little bit about that and how important it is to learn from this game and the Duke game too, moving forward.
Just by watching film. That's the main thing Coach is puts in us. He wants us to watch film. He wants us to look at our mistakes, look at the things as a team that we weren't doing. Like, I think it was one game, it might have been Notre Dame, where the bench wasn't as loud. He looks at those type of things, and that's prepares us for the next game. So everything we look at it in order for us to get better.
Thanks, Gabe.
You're welcome.
All right, Gabe, that's all we have for you tonight. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate all you guys.
All right, and that's going to wrap it up for this evening. Appreciate you guys hanging with us in the coverage. Have a good night.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Matt. Have a good one.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.